Over the last 10 years, I've been operating a company called Creative Dynamic Sports. We teach sports performance here in Forsyth County, Georgia. Now, over the last 10 years, I've had multiple lessons. I've learned so much. I never thought that I would be running a business, but once I started it, I made a pact with myself and I said, I need to learn as much as I can. Now, one of the tough lessons that I had to learn in the beginning had a lot to do with taxes. It wasn't so much that taxes was the problem. It was that organization was the key. I started out not using QuickBooks and I was actually doing the mom and pop old school system. So I was using like basically Excel sheets or like a spreadsheet and I was just writing everything out. But at least I was recording everything. Now, the other thing is you got to save all your receipts. And yes, I was saving my receipts, but you have to take it serious. So every now and then I would lose a receipt, but I would write down how much money had been spent at a certain location or a store. So even if I couldn't find the receipt, I had the purchase and I could take a picture of it, then I could just write it down. Now, some of the other things that I learned in business had a lot to do with sales. Prior to starting Creative Dynamic Sports, I had worked as a cosmetic salesman. Yeah, I used to sell cosmetics and I was doing it from B2B, but I was also doing street pitching. I was also doing online. I was doing however you make a sale. That's how you make a sale. Now, this is not a business that I applied for and actually knew what the real job was. So when I put my application in, I thought this was a different job. And I showed up and we went to a Dunkin' Donuts or a coffee shop and they told me about the thing and gave me my pitch and some more information. And that day I went on a car ride. And that car ride was probably the craziest car ride that I've been a part of. Now, these people were, one of the guys was even having a beer at like 9 o'clock. He said, look, this helps me with my pitch. Okay. But I learned so much about selling, about objections, about smiling, eye contact, how to approach people. And I directly believe that being a cosmetic salesman helped me so much in Creative Dynamic Sports. And it was so weird because I remember in the beginning, I didn't even want to accept the money. I had an assistant. I would let her accept the money, like take the money. It was so weird. It's like I felt something. I don't know if it's coming up in a small town. I don't know if it's lacking limitation mindset. I don't know, whatever it is. I just felt weird, like taking the money. But eventually I was like, nah, give me that money. I need that money, but it was great times for learning and I'm appreciative. I'm thankful. I mean, you talk about gratitude. We started off outdoors, which was actually very popular to be training outdoors. We had the most kids in the biggest classes when we trained outdoors. But for some reason, I felt like I needed to be inside. And I think that had a lot to do with where I started. I did an internship and I helped a guy named Calf Hearing open up a gym called KPS, Kinetic Prototype Sport. Shout out to Calf Hearing. The dude really put me on the right track, especially when it came to getting paid and then understanding how the sessions work. I ran a boot camp over there. I also worked with collegiate athletes as well as high school athletes. Man, when we got there, we already had NFL and CFL athletes ready to go. So CAF had really been putting in the work and I appreciated the opportunity to do that intern. So at the end of the day, I think we have to understand that there are guidelines and boundaries to it all. Now, when it comes to Creative Dynamic Sports, and what I had to learn was people need to be told, not sold. People don't like to be sold. They just want to be told, okay, look, here's what this is going to help you with, and it's going to help direct you toward that result. Here's the strategy that we need to put together, and it's going to help us get this stronger so that this right here gets better. Most importantly for my clients, I don't focus on imposing my will on my clients. Here's what I do. I want to find out how we're going to have the least path of resistance to help you get your result. It is my job to focus on your results. This is not about, hey, we're going to do this today. Well, you just did so-and-so yesterday, and that's not very smart for us to go through this today. You just had a game on Wednesday, and today's Thursday. We probably need to be doing some active recovery, some mobility and stuff like that. So it's very important when it comes to sales in a business that you also know how to articulate what's coming next. Not only this is what we can do now, but here's what we have to look forward to. So starting my business 10 years ago, I've had so many growth lessons, sales being the number one because sales also helped me with public relations. talking on the camera, talking on the mic, articulating myself, having effective communication. This has been very important. Me coming from a small town, being kind of shy when I was younger and being a quiet leader. Although I express leadership now a lot differently, I talk out a lot more. I speak up a lot more. Back in the day, man, listen, I was just quiet. I would go out on the football field and I would inspire you and motivate you by my action, because that man probably didn't talk a lot, but if you ever seen him on the field, that boy can play. If you seen him on the court, that boy can play. If you seen him on the track, that boy can run. He can jump. He can do some things. So I put my body to the test by making sure that I was applying myself, whether it was academics, whether it was athletics, it didn't matter. And it's the same thing with business. The reason I've been able to get better in business is because I am applying myself. Are we perfect? No, not even close. This whole video and audio right here is about me feeling like I'm just getting started. That's what this video is about. I feel like I'm just getting started. I am learning the pieces to the puzzle, and we are putting the puzzle together. Does that mean that in the future that we're going to have a 3,000 square foot warehouse sports performance gym? I can't answer that, but that's what we have right now. So we're going to put all the work in that we can. We're going to get as many kids in here and help them grow, creating change one athlete at a time, getting scholarships, helping kids make the team for the first time. A lot of kids, they've never made the team. They've never made the high school team or the middle school team. And with our age groups being 8 years old all the way to 18, there's a lot of growth and development to happen between those years. And those are the most important years. We all know once those kids get 15 and 16 years old, they start smelling their armpits and stuff like that. Then they start doing what they want to do. And then it's hard for us to really just kind of direct their path, especially as a parent, mom or dad. That's when you need a guy like Coach Tim that can talk to your son or daughter, ask questions, and utilize the mental performance side of training. And a lot of people don't talk about mental performance, but the game nowadays is 80% mental and 20% physical. So it's very important that your athlete knows what to do when the obstacles show up, when the challenges and the adversity starts to arise. I want you to understand that I've had a lot of lessons, but I pour my lessons in the people through experience. So every time I'm working with these kids, any mistake or lesson that I have learned in my life, and I have been able to apply it, because it's important that if you make a mistake and you correct it, you must apply the new lesson or the new learning before you can help anybody else. You have no business trying to help anybody else through anything that you can't relate to or have empathy behind. If you ain't been through it, if you haven't been through it, maybe you can express some sympathy because you understand. You express your sorrow. But if you haven't been through the situation, it's so hard to connect. And with these kids, with our youth athletics, one of the things that I believe, not trying to toot my own horn, but one of the things that I believe is that I believe that I am good at connecting with the youth. And at heart, I'm just a big kid. I love to have fun. I get the kids in there shooting basketball. We're running around using the ladders and we're explaining the drills. We're elaborating. I'm asking questions. I'm trying to see if your son or daughter is actually paying attention and retaining the information. So being in business for the last 10 years, it's not only helped me with sales, communication, public relation, articulating myself, learning how to deal with customers, learning how to operate business professionally, and getting yourself out of that mom and pop mindset and actually thinking about scaling your business. And that is exactly where I am now. We've now launched the podcast, First Team Mentality. You can check out the podcast on Spotify, Apple. You can also check it out on YouTube. That is where we put the recordings. So listen, I want you guys to understand, ladies, guys, everyone, athletes and parents that listen to this podcast, there are many lessons to be learned. But most importantly, from the experience that you gain, how are you able to help people grow, develop, and move forward in their life and become overall better human beings, not just in the classroom, but on the court, on the field, and in life? Let's work.